Can a suicide threat be manipulative? And the answer is yes, it can be. Suicide threats are often made by people who do not intend to commit suicide. You can especially note that a threat might be manipulative if it is made when you ask somebody to do something, like a child, a young adult, and they say, I'm just going to kill myself. When you set a boundary, when you say, I'm not going to pay for your car anymore, or I'm not going to give you money since you're using drugs. Well, I'm just going to kill myself. I don't want to live. So you pay attention. When is that thrown out? Is it thrown out when you are requesting something, when you are stating a boundary, when you are holding someone accountable? This is when threats to commit suicide are often made to just get you to back down. So you've got to be wise about that. Now, you also have to be wise about not discounting a real suicide threat and then having somebody actually follow through with it and having that guilt remain on you, feeling like I would have been able to save this person, most likely a loved one or a very close friend, if I would have called. We never want to make a mistake of not taking it seriously when it is. So you got to take all these factors into consideration. And one of the other factors that trained counselors and suicide risk crisis teams use is to look at are there three elements? Is there a specific plan of how the person is going to do it? Is it pills? Is it a gun? Is it jumping off a bridge or a building? Is there a plan? I'm going to do it this way. Is there the means? The person says, I'm going to take a bottle of pills, but they don't have any pills that would be lethal. They don't, there is no bridge anywhere near you. The person does not have a gun. So by saying that they're going to do it that way, but they don't have the means to carry it out, then that means that that's less of a threat or less of a risk than it would be if the person had the means. And the third component is intent. Does the person intend to do it right now? Does the person intend to do it tonight? Is the person saying to you, I am going home to take those pills tonight? I want to die. I'm going to turn my phone off. I'm going to lock my door and you will never see me again. And you know the person has those pills, then that is an imminent threat. That is a very high risk situation. Why do people get suicidal? Well, suicide is part of the mental illness, many mental illnesses, especially if you have major depressive disorders. Having suicidal thoughts is one of the characteristics of having a serious depression. And it's also common in people who use substances. It's common with people who are feeling very psychotic and disconnected from you. So, and from reality. So there are many reasons why a person would think about depression. They may have had a loved one just die, or they may have lost a job or lost all their money and feel hopeless. Someone who feels hopeless about the future or a terminal illness, or their partner, their spouse leaves them, and they are feeling like, I don't have anything to live for. Those are other reasons why a person may actually think seriously about suicide. If you have a loved one or a friend who's talking about suicide and threatening to commit suicide or just saying, I want to die, you might ask those three questions. Well, have you thought about how you would do it? And then person says, no, I just keep having thoughts that I'm not happy. Like I'm hopeless. I don't think anything good is going to happen. Okay, that helps you to know that, okay, they don't even have a plan. Okay, it's just thoughts. Maybe you can refer to a psychologist or a counselor or a doctor to get some, medication that might help them. Maybe you can offer to take them or maybe offer to make the appointment. If you ask them the second one, well, okay, you have a plan, but do you have those pills? Do you have that gun? Like, have you prepared for that? No, I don't. I don't have them. I've just thought that that's the way I would do it. Again, not a serious risk of if the person says, yeah, I just bought the gun. I just got the prescription and I'm saving it. Or I haven't taken any of my sleeping pills for the past month because I'm saving them up so that I have enough to do it. Oh, that's a higher risk. Okay, and then the third one is, do you have the intention? Like I said, yeah, I'm gonna do it tonight. I've already written my letter. That's a serious, serious risk of suicide. So what can you do? Well, there is a national lifeline that is now just 3 digits. It's 988 in the United States. You can call 988. They can advise you. If you are struggling with suicidal thoughts and you need somebody to talk to, they are there 24/7. Please call 988. If you are unsure whether a loved one has a serious intent to harm themselves, then you can call 911 and they will either send the police out or they'll send out a crisis assessment team who both of whom are trained to assess suicide risk. If they think the person is a risk to themselves, they will take them into the hospital, and most states have a approximately 3-day hold, but they differ for how many days and under what circumstances, and whether or not they can get an extended hold without having to go to court. But to hold the person so that they can assess them and take them away from that imminent risk and those thoughts, and get them to talk to a psychiatrist and talk to a counselor, and they give them a little bit of group therapy. I never feel guilty about doing that for somebody. If you are concerned that they may be suicidal, one, you're not a professional, so you're not the one that can make that assessment. Two, you do not want to live with the guilt of wishing that you had called and not having done it. And three, you want to protect this person. You want to protect your loved one, your friend. And that's one way you can do it. If the police or the team comes out and they say, I don't think that's person's a risk, then you've done what you've needed to do. The other thing is, if it is manipulative and the person is manipulating you, one of the best ways to call their bluff is to have the police come out and question them. And they know that every time that they threaten to commit suicide, you're going to call and they're going to have to face that. So it kind of helps too if you want to nip that threat in the bud and get rid of it and help this person know serious suicide is a serious threat. I would not be able to live with myself if I didn't call and make sure that you were not going to do anything to yourself. So if you say that and I think you're serious, I'm going to follow through to protect you and to protect me. So this gives you a lot of possibilities. Again, I have to tell you that I am not assessing your particular situation and telling you, since I don't know your loved one and your situation, I'm not telling you that your person that you're worried about is or is not suicidal. You need to get intervention and assessment of your particular situation from somebody who can be in person with you to make that. So keep that in mind. I'm just giving you some guidelines and some understanding of what it is that you can do. If you're uncertain about how many days that your loved one would be held, I looked up online and found a link that gave me a breakdown of all the states. And it told how many days they would keep a person without a court order, and if they could get it increased without a court order or with the court order. So if you're wondering about your own state, you could check online, or you can check maybe with the police department, but not the 911, but just the actual department, and ask them, or maybe call a suicide. I don't know if the suicide hotline, I shouldn't say that, takes those kinds of calls, but if you have concerns, I'm sure that they would guide you. So, okay, thank you. And I hope this was helpful and gave you some good information that will enable you to make the right decision about your loved one that is talking about suicide.